Dog Works Radio is sponsored by Alaska Dog Works. Check out their website at alaskadogworks.com.
Start your day tomorrow with The Daily Dog with Michele Forto, the morning podcast on Dog Works Radio. Apple Podcast reviewer Patty Christensen calls it funny, smart, and filled with all the info I want to know about dogs. I love this show. Wake up with The Daily Dog. Available on Dog Works Radio on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your shows.
You are listening to The Daily Dog with your host, Michele Forto. The Daily Dog offers training advice, tips and tricks, and maybe even a book or movie review, too.
Hello and welcome, everybody. It's Michele Forto with The Daily Dog. Today's tip of the day, I have a question for you. Do you dance with your dog? What I mean by that is, when you are training with your dog, do you take the opportunity to let loose and have some fun and actually dance with your dog? When you incorporate fun and vigor into your attitude, training with your dog becomes more fun, lighthearted, and lively, and your dog is going to take to more difficult tasks a little bit easier. Good luck. Have a nice dance with your dog. Our next segment is going to continue with our series on dog training. We have finished up our learning theory portion, and now we're going to move into influential dog trainers and their contributions. Helene Whitehouse Walker was a respected breeder of standard poodles. Poodles were suffering from the stereotype that they were sissies. So in 1933, Walker decided to show dog fanciers that poodles were much more than just a pretty face. Walker was by all accounts a persuasive woman. She began approaching dog clubs and breeders alike with the idea of something that had never been done before: holding competitive obedience trials at conformation dog shows. In 1933, at Mount Kisco, New York, 8 dogs competed in America's first obedience trial. North Westchester and Somerset Hills Kennel Clubs followed suit with obedience trials at their dog shows the following year. By 1936, the American Kennel Club developed the regulations and standards for obedience test trials and was using those regulations at licensed obedience events. In 1937, Helene Walker and Blanche Saunders went on a cross-country trip giving obedience demonstrations in order to sell the idea that training one's dog was beneficial to the owner and the public. 4 years later, the New England Dog Training Club became the first obedience club to become a member of the AKC. 65 years later, there are over 500 obedience clubs that are members of the AKC. Blanche Saunders continued the campaign that she and Walker started on their incredible 1937 trek with amazing tenacity. She promoted the emerging sport of dog obedience at some of the nation's largest venues and the most prestigious events. Saunders demonstrated dog obedience techniques in front of a crowd of 70,000 at Yankee Stadium. Her and her dogs also appeared at the premier event of National Dog Week, the Westminster Dog Show at Rockefeller Center. The Complete Book of Dog Obedience by Saunders was published in 1954 and is purportedly the first book written specifically for obedience instructors. Treat training and other positive reinforcement methods of training canines were virtually unknown in Saunders' era. Training methods of time revolved around the solicitation of escape and avoidance behaviors. In How Dogs Learn, in 1999, Birch and Bailey write, Saunders advocated praise, kindness, and fairness. She listed too little praise as one of the most common mistakes of dog owners. Saunders was perhaps the first author to repeatedly stress the importance of reinforcement in training, thus starting the trend toward the positive training methods used today. Saunders did, however, specifically state that food should never be used to train canines, but that it was acceptable to use a tidbit now and then to overcome a problem. Saunders showed remarkable foresight in the understanding of what really motivates a dog. I hope you're going to enjoy this next section of our ongoing information about trainers. We are going to head into our next segment, which is the breed of the day. Shih Tzu. The legend of the Shih Tzu has come to us from documents, paintings, and objects d'art dating from AD 624. During the Tang Dynasty, Qiu Tai, king of Vikur, gave the Chinese court a pair of dogs said to have come from the Fu Lin, assumed to be the Byzantine Empire. Mention of these dogs was again made in 990 through 994, when people of the Ho Chao sent dogs as tribute. Another theory of their introduction to China was recorded in the mid-17th century when dogs were brought from Tibet to the Chinese court. These dogs were bred in the forbidden city of Peking. Many pictures of them were kept in the imperial dog book. The smallest of these dogs resembled a lion, as represented in Asian art. In Buddhist belief, there is an association between the lion and their deity. Shih Tzu means lion. The dogs for court breeding were selected with great care. From these, the Shih Tzu known today developed. They were often called the chrysanthemum-faced dog, because the hair grows about the face in all directions. General appearance, the Shih Tzu was a sturdy, lively, alert toy dog with long, flowing double coat, befitting his noble Chinese ancestry as a highly valued, prized companion and palace pet. The Shih Tzu is proud of bearing, has a distinctly arrogant carriage with head well up and tail curved back. Although there has always been considerable size variation, the Shih Tzu must be compact, solid, carrying good weight and substance. Even though a toy dog, the Shih Tzu must be subject to the same requirements of soundness and structure prescribed for all breeds, and any deviation from the ideal described in the standard should be penalized to the extent of the deviation. Structural faults common to all breeds are as undesirable in the Shih Tzu as in any other breed, regardless of whether or not such faults are specifically mentioned in the standard. Temperament of the Shih Tzu, as the sole purpose of the Shih Tzu is that of a companion and house pet. It is essential that its temperament be outgoing, happy, affectionate, friendly, and trustworthy towards all. If you're interested in a Shih Tzu, they do make quite good companion pets. Keep in mind, they have a high requirement for grooming. Thanks for listening to The Daily Dog.
Did you know that Alaska Dog Works trains service dogs for those in need throughout North America? Each and every service dog that is trained through the Lead Dog Service Dog Program and Michele Forto and her team has an individual training plan. We train for autistic, mobility, psychiatric, and PTSD for our soldiers for service work. If you know of someone that may need a service dog, please take a moment and check out Alaska Dog Works on social media and at alaskadogworks.com.
Hi guys, it's Alex. If you're a fan of sled dog sports and the Iditarod, Mushing Radio is the show for you. Each Wednesday we drop a new episode on Dogworks Radio, so be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from.
If you like our podcast, there are a few things you can do. You can take a couple of minutes and go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also check out all of our Dogworks Radio sponsors and promotions in our show notes. Another thing you can do is go over to Facebook, like our Facebook page, and one last thing, please tell all of your friends by spreading the word about Dogworks Radio. Thank you so much for listening to us. We really appreciate you.
Dogworks Radio is produced by Robert Forto. Logo art by Angry Squirrel Studios. Dogworks Radio is produced in conjunction with KVRF 89.7 in Palmer, Alaska.
For dog training advice, you can contact Alaska Dog Works at 907-841-1686 or visit their website alaskadogworks.com. If you have a show idea or would like to be a guest, please contact us by sending an email to live@dogworksradio.com.